Hey there, Joseph Spada here, and in this video, I am going to go over the entire workshop as a recap, and we are going to focus on the most important takeaways, and I hope that's helpful to you. Let's move on. 9, avatar and messaging. So remember, you may have more than one avatar, okay? The avatar, again, is like your ideal customer. And for your avatar, you can have, obviously, the adult children. These are the ones we most deal with. The power of attorney, the adult child who makes the decisions, who picks the place, who pays the bill, that type of person. Then you have the spouse caregiver, so the husband or the wife caring for their loved one. Case managers, referral agencies, other adult family home provider, assisted living, home health, guardians, geriatric care managers. All these groups have their unique set of challenges, desires, things they love, things they don't love, their pain points. And your goal here is to understand as much as you can about each avatar, because that way, when you talk to another adult family home provider and you're trying to build a networking connection, this will help you talk to them in a way that they will hear you, in a way where they'll be interested, in a way where they'll pay attention to what you're saying. If you just call and say, hey, I'm your competitor, do you have any clients for me? And by the way, I was really curious. I wanted to find out how much you charge so I know. I'm exaggerating, okay? But this is what's going on in the mind here, you know. But if you approach them, bringing something to the table, I'm working on increasing and building my network. I'm looking for great quality adult family home providers who are within 3 miles of my adult family home to network. I mean, I'm usually full. I mean, I got a vacancy now, but it's not going to be that way forever. And when I'm full, I would much rather these clients be placed in a high quality adult family home run by a great provider, so I'm comfortable that they're getting really good care. That's what I'm calling about. You interested? You're going to get a lot of yeses if you do it that way, okay? So tailor your message to each person, just as the example I gave you now, okay? Provide value first. That was part of the example I just gave you. Mention vacancies subtly. That's kind of what I did there too. I just sort of put it, kind of in passing. I happen to have a vacancy now, but that's not going to be there forever. Eventually, I'll be full. And then when I get a call at that point, I need to do something with that. I don't want him to go back with a referral agency where my fellow providers are going to pay 10 grand to acquire that client. I'd much rather send it to you directly. And by the way, don't charge, guys. I mean, if they want to send you a gift, that's great, but don't try to profit from that. Okay. And then that first point here, understanding their pain points. This is part of your interview process, if you will. So when you call, you can open with the kind of message I just shared with you as an example. But then if the conversation continues on, then you ask them, so tell me about you. Tell me about your home. What kind of clients do you like to accept? You understand? Because now they can see you're really interested and you care about them. And in engaging in that type of dialogue and conversation with them, they're literally going to open up to you by themselves, and they're going to reveal things that you're going to go, yeah, that's a pain point that they have. So now you understand what it is that they struggle with, and if you can help them. Okay, everybody has something to bring to the table. What families actually want. Proximity is always very important. If you have a high specialty home like traumatic brain injury or PDN, private duty nursing, if you have something like that, people will travel to go there because it's in very short supply. But mostly, when we're talking about the care of a loved one, a parent, or a spouse, they will want to be near. They don't want to be driving 45 minutes to go see mom or dad, after a long day at work. They want to be nearby. If they can walk their dog and stop by your house and see mom and dad on the way for their walk, that is just going to be the best thing for them, right? So proximity is very important. And regardless of where you are, as long as there's enough people in the right age bracket there, proximity is going to be great. By the way, make sure you have a sign by your door so when people walk by, they can see that this is a care home. Personalized and comprehensive care. That's why they need you, not the assisted living facility. They want to age in place. They've already moved from their house. They downsized to a small house. Then they downsized again to a 55 plus community. Then eventually they moved to an assisted living, and now they have to move again. Well, if they don't have the confidence that they can stay there till their last day, that is that's a weak point there, because if they are faced with another move, everybody knows, we all know how stressful that is. So much work, coordination, expense, moving furniture, making arrangement, doing a truckload of paperwork every single time. Nobody wants to do that. So aging in place is really important. Safety care, safe care. So again, here is a fall prevention protocol, health maintenance program. Those things increase safety tremendously. So people want that. Meaningful engagement is really important. No one wants to have a TV as a babysitter. Some people love TV, and they'll say, my mom likes to watch TV, and she loves the cooking shows and the Hallmark movies, the old reruns of whatever it was. That's fine. But in general, they want engagement. So this is really important. The emotional presence of the caregiver and the provider. And as I said, the statistics from Forbes really clarifies that 86% of people will pay up to 140% more. So price is not an issue when they have the money, first of all, but when they are confident that they're going to get a better product and a better service. So if somebody has the money and you offer something better, they will come with you. Okay? So that's how you win over the competition. So focus on these things, because understanding what's important to them helps you give it to them, right? Because you're aware of what's important to them. You're aware of what matters. So your messaging, the way you talk, the way things you show, all reinforce those things that are important to them. Now, here is a long list of things they don't like, and I'm giving you as well a way to address those objections. Now, what are objections? Just to be clear, objection is a thought in their mind mostly. Now, at the last workshop, one of you said that the customer actually gave you their objection verbally, which is not often the case. But these objections, in other words, objections are reason against something. So normally they will have these objections in their mind, and they are unspoken. But since you already probably know, in fact, the ones we are going to cover now are the most important. I mean, I have worked with over 1,300 patients over the years. I know their objections, and here they are, as well as how you can quickly dispel them before they even bring it up. Okay, so number one, inexperience. And this is a big problem with newer providers, especially if you're saying, I just got licensed, and you have a choice of 6 rooms. I just got licensed 2 months ago. I mean, if you say that, it may be true, and you don't want to be deceiving, you don't want to lie, of course, never do that. But at the same time, you might say something else that's more empowering. For example, I've actually cared for dozens of people just like your mom. As a CNA, I worked in a nursing home for 6 years before I finally built this dream so that people can get this wonderful care that I couldn't provide them in a nursing home. So I've cared for a lot of people who had the same condition and the same challenges as your parent is facing. That just dispels that not experience thing. And you can add too, like, don't be shameful. Say, I had a great teacher. I mean, you don't have to mention anybody's name. You don't have to say my name. You just have to say, I had a great teacher, our instructor. In this industry, we're very fortunate. We have highly experienced educators who teach us, how to operate, wonderful top of the line adult family homes, and I learned from one such person, and so I learned quite a bit, and I've had a lot of great mentorship. That's much better than, hey, I just started. Surprise price increases. You quote them 8,000 and then they move in and then you're pulling your hair out. I didn't know about this. Nobody told me about that. The referral agency didn't say this. The nurse assessor didn't have that. That is not a winner's mindset. That's a victim's mindset and kind of speaks to inexperience also. So you don't want to do that, right? Because basically what people do is, I'll take you for 7,000, and then 2 weeks later, once they're pulling their hair out, they say, I have to raise you and it's going to be 9,000. People hate that. They absolutely hate that. So our care fee system is clear, fully disclosed up front, so you won't get any surprises. We essentially have 3 levels of care, assisted living, uh, uh, I don't like the word basic, but essential support for all the things that matter most. Then we have um, the intermediate level of care, and then we have our advanced level of care, including up to hospice care. And so all these are in writing. You're going to get all of that. Once I issue the quote, I will also send you those exact uh, tiers and how they work so that you never have a surprise. And also, I want you to know that when I see your loved one, I'm going to do a comprehensive evaluation. I'm going to talk to the nurses, the caregivers. I'm going to look at the paperwork, and I'm adding everything you're sharing with me now so that I'm going to be very confident that my quote will be accurate. And by the time your mom does move in, the price is going to be very clear, and it's usually going to be a solid quote. That gives people a lot of confidence. Poor oversight. Well, we have 24-hour a day awake staff. Plus, I come in on a very regular basis, usually randomly, so they don't know when I'm coming or going, which I like to do that so that I can always see what's going on when I'm here and when I'm not here as well. They don't like restrictive policies like visitation hours. Yeah, we have to visit, between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. First of all, that's illegal, so don't do that. But second of all, you want to flip that around and make it so, no, you and your friends and your mom's friends are welcome to come in anytime. Usually we have the door locked, but if it's unlocked, just knock and come in. If you come during daytime hours, that's really easy. The door is always unlocked. Please know that if you come after 7 p.m., the door will be locked because we really want to give people privacy. At that time of day, they take showers, they get ready for the night. We have the bedtime care routine. And so therefore, we want to make sure people have enough privacy. Now you can call ahead and let us know if you're coming later, so we'll make sure your mom is, ready for a visit. But if you don't, it's okay too. Just know you may have to wait a minute or two at the door so a staff can come and let you in. But that's fine. If that's the only time you can come, then go ahead. Right? Now you're suggesting things and you're putting the resident first. So you're making this suggestion based on resident first. People really appreciate that because you're going to do the same thing to protect the privacy of their mom. Chaos, disorganization. Let me show you our daily care log tracking system. We use this system here, whether it's digital, paper, doesn't matter. Now, anytime you come visit, you will know exactly what medication she took and when she got a shower, when we trimmed her nails, if they had a bowel movement, how much they ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, if they had snacks, when we brushed their teeth. Everything is documented here. It's very thorough. It's very beefy. I mean, this is literally nursing home level type of documentation that we keep here. And it's very well organized. Let me show you. Overpromise, underdeliver. That's also part of the surprise price increases. But you can say something like, I have the same concern you do. I want to accept clients who are going to be a great fit in this home because I want them to thrive. I want them to be proud to live here. And so this is very, very important to me personally as well, as much as I know it is important to you. So once I see your mom, if it's not a good fit, please trust me, I will tell you, because I have no interest in just filling the bed, with a random resident here. I just want them to be a great fit so everybody benefits from the whole thing, including you, right? So I want it to be a great fit, and I want to be confident that she's going to thrive and do really well here. So these are the type of folks I want to admit here. As you can see, it's a small environment, it's very intimate, and so this is really important to me, as I know it is for you. Boom, you just dispel that, because now they're not afraid that you're just going to admit anyone, and then you're going to realize, oh my gosh, they need so much help, I can't take care of them, it's too stressful, too difficult. So um, and then by the same token, overpromising is, I'm going to take, the blood pressure twice a day, every day. I'm going to be in the house, all day, every day. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And you're promising all these things, which realistically you may not be able to do. So then when they expect you to be there and you're not there. So for example, I'm an RN, I take care of all these other things, but then you have a full-time job in the hospital. So now they try to call you, you can't pick up, you're busy in the hospital. They show up, you're not there. The caregivers say, oh, you're not there working at their other job. You've just overpromised and underdelivered, and that's going to be a huge disappointment. So make sure you only promise what you're absolutely confident you will deliver. Last one, boring environment. Well, here's our printout of our life enrichment program. Every single day, we have a number of activities for all the residents, and also we do individual activities for each resident, things that are specifically designed for them as a unique type of activity. And so we'll do the same thing for your mom. In the morning, she can do the exercise routine with everybody else. We'll make sure we encourage her to bring her, and we'll do ABC. In the afternoon, around 2 p.m., once a week, we do nail care. Every Monday afternoon, it's our health maintenance program, where we're going to check her from head to toe, including vitals, blood pressure, this and that and the other thing. We're going to do a full skincare check and make sure her skin's intact. So if anything shows up, we can deal with it immediately and take prompt action. And then here's the printout of all those as an example schedule here for you. Give them a beautiful calendar. Okay, moving on to tours that sell. Again, structure, not improvise. Make sure you ask a lot of questions. Tell me about your mom. And you can do that in walking. By the way, so this is the living room. So you were saying about your mom, so try to make it so that it's a relaxed but really informative session. No question should be random. All the questions you ask should be for a reason, pointed, to get them to speak. Now, obviously, you're going to have to talk about it quite a bit yourself too, because they're going to have a lot of questions for you. So you're going to have to explain things. But when you explain things and you say, well, as a nurse, I can, or as a CNA, I can, then make sure that that translates to address their specific problem. All right, so ask a lot of questions. Now, when they tell you, this is important to me, she fell 3 times, they've had a hard time getting her to eat enough, she's lost weight, take a note. These are the problems. This is the problem list. So that later, when you get to point number 4 here, you start to speak about outcome and benefits for each of the problems you listed. Okay? So it's not random. So you have this problem solution matching technique. They told you a problem. She's not eating a lot. You're going to say, we're going to figure out a way to solve that. And they're going to say, yeah, well, what do you have in mind, or whatever? Well, we're going to start by figuring out the things she loves, doesn't love. Then we're going to try to figure out, why is her appetite down? What may be causing that? Is there a hormonal situation? Is there a medication adjustment that needs to be made? Is there some kind of a disease process in a way? Is there a mechanical type of problem with their dentures or their chewing? Is it that they don't like the food? So we don't know, but our program here is going to ensure that we get to the bottom of it, and that we're going to come up with the way to improve the situation for her. You understand? And then also number three there, I didn't really cover that, but make sure you ask them. Say, so as you know, Jane's son, what's important to you? You know, in you know, during this move, after this move, or what's important to you for your mom's happiness? Try to ask them what matters to them. Maybe it's as simple as, you know, I need to be able to visit after work, 7 p.m., because I work till 6. Oh, that's great. No problem at all. You know, right? So find out what they want, because you need to also address what's important to them, because they have concerns and they have problems. I mean, as an example, the client I was the last admission, she was in the assisted living. She was having all kinds of problems with the administrator. Couldn't reach the administrator, couldn't talk to them. She'd bring up problems. The administrator would say, "Okay, I'll fix it," but they never did anything. Things wouldn't change. You know, they were telling the staff and the nurses, my mom needs to have her leg elevated. She just had a deep venous thrombosis and the leg was swollen and painful, and we need to do this. And they wouldn't do it, you know. So I dispel those things immediately and I say, okay, it's yeah. So I really, first of all, really hear you. Make sure they know you got it. And then come up with your solution, if you will. And so in my case, I says, well, you know, we do something here that's a little different than in most places. We actually have a communication thread, and it'll be you, your sister, me, and Lynn, and the four of us will be here on this thread, so that anything you want to say will come directly to us, or anything we observe or need to share with you will be directly there. And then you'll have a second thread with our contracted medical providers, so that if you have questions for the doctor, you can communicate with them directly. And we also have that two-way communication. So, in other words, your messages, your questions, your wishes come directly to me. And obviously, this is all I do. And your mom is only one of 6. So it's very easy for me to manage those things. And you can literally send me a message any day, anytime. She was like, wow, that was great. And as a matter of fact, I was teaching a class a few days ago. And during the break, after the class, sorry, they called. They were about questions about hospice care and how it all works and how do they know when the right time comes. And they had struggled with their dad before with pain, and the medications weren't coming and the staff wasn't giving pain meds, and it was just a really bad experience. But at the end of it, when we talked about all these things, she said, oh, we are so relieved that mom is with you, and we love that communication thread. I feel like we can always send anything anytime and you respond quickly, and we just love that so much. I mean, people will tell you, you know. So when people tell you something like that, make sure that registers, because this is obviously something very valuable to them, meaning it's also valuable to other people who are just like them. It's great learning there. Lastly, make sure that you make the next step easy and low stress. Remember, these people are already overwhelmed with decisions, paperwork, coordinating moves, talking to all kinds of people's assessors. They figure out, you know, the notice they have to give the other facility. They got to get movers to get the furniture. I mean, they have so much going on, and all of this is costing them so much time, stress, and money. Make it simple. Make it easy. Well, you know, I have time tomorrow morning. If you want me to go see your mom, I just need 20, 30 minutes, and then I can get back to you with my observations. I can gather the information I need, so I have enough to give you, you know, a very narrow quote. So it'll be, you know, between 9,200 and 9,700. If you know their budget is even better, because if she said, you know, my budget is 10,000, I would quote them between 95 and 9,800. Beautiful, right? So I can give you an exact quote, and really just takes a few minutes. Now, you're welcome to join me, but you don't have to. I know you're busy and you got a lot going on, but I'm happy to go. But if you'd like to be there, that's great too. Or if there is a better time. So just make it simple, okay? After that, we'll go ahead and coordinate the assessment, and then all you have to do is pick a date. If you want to bring your mom's furniture, that's awesome. If you don't, if it's too much, or if you need, you know, a couple extra week, we can have this room furnished for you. There's no extra cost. I'll just put in my beautiful furniture there. Your mom can just come in with a toothbrush and her underwear. That's all she needs. I'll take it from there. Okay? And then when you're ready to bring her stuff, then we'll go ahead and organize all her belongings. In the meantime, if you have things you want to put on, well, just give them to me. I got the tools and everything else, and I'll do the holes in the wall. Besides, if I'm the one who makes the holes in the wall, you would have to fix them when you leave. I made the holes. I'll fix them myself. I won't charge you a cleaning fee. I'll just take care of it. You know what I mean? Just make it easy. Believe me, you have people out there who's like, there's a $4,000 administrative fee. There's first month, last month. There is a security deposit. By the time people are done, they're like, they have to fork out $25,000. Now I can already hear some of you are going to say, well, Aegis charges $200,000 just to get in the door at their Kirkland facility. Well, yeah, that's possible, but I'm not Aegis, so I don't know. This is a welcome break, I think, for the people, and probably if you have something valuable and substantial enough and you're going to charge them something for it, that's fine. But I try not to overdo it myself, just in case they don't move out. Then I don't want to be out of sorts with it. But typically, by the time I give them the quote, that's when I need the deposit. And then at that point, I'd be a bit more firm with the deposit. Okay, now that it's green lights all the way around, I need a final decision pretty quickly, or give me a deposit, because otherwise I cannot consider this room filled by you. I will have to continue to show. And I'm getting a lot of calls right now. So, just again, no obligations. But if you're serious, you should definitely do that. Okay, another element of the touring, make sure your place is clean, make sure it smells good. The best smells are going to be food, desserts, casseroles, that kind of stuff. If you don't have any of that stuff going on, go ahead and use like essential oil, maybe lavender, but don't make it too strong, and do not use a full can of air spray, after somebody's gone to the bathroom. I mean, if the house smells bad because somebody had an accident, the best bet is open all the windows for 10 minutes, and then get a bunch of fresh air, then go ahead and close everything so it'll be nice and fresh and clean, rather than a big spray can. Make sure it's warm enough, and not only in temperature, but also with your decor. Make nice decorations on the wall. You don't try to stage your house. Make it look like a beautiful Airbnb, okay? Remember, if we are competing with assisted living, which oftentimes we are when somebody is a bit more able, they want to make sure that mom is busy enough and has activities and things she can do during the day. They may compare us to the assisted living. Well, they got the $1 million look, and there is nothing you can do about that in terms of matching what they're offering in terms of the environment. But do your best to get your own version of the $1 million look. That goes a really, really long way, okay? Even if your house isn't the latest remodeled, modern, new construction, whatever, that's fine. Even if it's a bit older, fresh paint, no carpet, and beautiful decorations. That is the cheapest way to get the $1 million look, all right? Don't show empty room. Stage your rooms, please. Okay, make the 1 or 2 rooms look really, really nice with your own furniture, and then offer them. If you don't want to move your mom's furniture, you can use this. And look how beautiful. The bed has a great place. There's a TV on the wall, nightstand, dresser, nice quality. Don't get the cheap IKEA stuff. Get nice furniture. And they're gonna notice. It will make a difference. During the tour, make sure residents are engaged in doing something. Make sure they look their best, and make sure they're up and around if at all possible. Now, I know some people want to stay in bed and whatnot. Fine. I know other people go back for a nap after breakfast or maybe after lunch. That's not necessarily a big problem. But what I encourage you there is to make sure that if, for example, if it's in the morning, get your resident up. Make sure they look their best, make sure they're dressed, smell good, look good, etc. Make the bed, clean the room, empty the trash, etc. Then they can always lay down on top of the bed for a short nap. At least it looks like they've already received care. and it doesn't look like they were left in bed, until 11 a.m. or something like that. Okay. All right. Let's talk about staffing during tours. It's really important to engage staff. Um, the staff, if you don't live in the home, and even if you do, as a matter of fact, most people understand and realize that you are not going to be the one to be providing them care all day, all night, every day. They know there's going to be caregiver there. For that reason, they must have some kind of connection with the caregiver. They must have enough liking and trusting of the caregivers. If that's not there, you're missing half of the equation. So what you want to do there is you want to be intentional in building some rapport between the staff and the visitor. Okay. Now, for that reason, my personal advice there is that there needs to be at least 3 points of contact. So when the customer or when the prospect comes at the front door, I don't answer the door. I have the caregivers go answer the door. That does two things. Number one, first point of contact, they get to see a smiley face. The caregiver is taught and has practiced with me or with others how to do this. Shake hands, look at them in the eyes. My name is Joseph. I'm the lead caregiver here. I'm the resident manager. I've been working here for 4 years. Maybe you can stop it right before there. That's fine too, but just a really warm introduction. Please come in. Can I take your coat? I have a coat hanger. Or otherwise, let me go call Joseph. That gives them a minute to soak in the environment, to catch their breath, and to get their bearings inside your home. Don't throw them right in the fire. Give them a chance to breathe. And now you have already made that first contact. It was pleasant. They got a nice handshake, a smile. My name is so and so. I'm the resident manager here. Welcome. I'm so glad you took a minute. Let me go call Joseph while you get your coat or whatever. Okay? Do you need to use the bathroom, by the way? If you do, it's just right there, first door on the left. Nice. Now I give them a minute. They come call me. I come and I do my thing. Then the caregiver immediately goes down and engages with residents. So by the time we get to the AFH area there or wherever the action is happening, the resident and the caregiver are doing something together. So there is meaningful engagement. Now that can be exercise. It can be a beauty day. So where they're maybe doing nails or hand massages. They might be doing walking exercise. They might be doing a puzzle. They might be baking or cooking something, right? Folks, your imagination is the limit here, okay? It doesn't really matter all that much what they're doing, so long as it's not just watching TV, okay? Do something. So now they're going to see and witness that the caregivers are really engaged with the resident, how much they care, how much attention these people are getting, that there is actually something happening here besides a bunch of, halfway conscious people staring at a TV. And lastly, at the end of the tour, there should be a third touch point where the caregivers somehow come by and say, thank you so much for coming to visit. I did overhear a little bit about your mom, and Joseph told me about it before your visit, but your mom sounds like she would be a great fit here. If you decide to come, we'll take really good care of you. I promise you that. Have it be natural for them, okay? Make sure they practice it out loud so that it's in their words and in their tone. And as long as it sounds something along those lines, that's awesome, okay? Now, it's really important that the caregivers do not shadow you during the tour. I have had sometimes caregiver who just kind of stand there, like a fly on the wall, but they're right next to you. That's really tough to talk about stuff and, whatever. The caregivers should be engaged with the resident.